What was that again, Eric?
I'm a church mouse. I'm a beautiful creature.
Well, I was deafened and I didn't catch the first part of that.
Why were you deafened?
Something about jacking it off.
No, I said jack it on, jack it off. There's two different things. Mike, where's your mind? What's wrong with you?
Welcome to the Fathergamer Podcast.
So, you guys ready for this?
Not really.
Let me
I am telling you, like the last couple days, it has been. I just cannot sleep.
Mhm.
I just every damn night. It's just something, or I'm like, I'm not even playing video games. It's not anything big, and I'll stop reading comments. I'll stop, and I'm just literally sitting there and just staring at the ceiling. And I don't generally do that. Generally, it's just okay. Like I'm up and I'm doing something stupid. And I don't know. Do you guys do that ever? Or
I mean, I take melatonin, so I sleep a lot.
I can't do that. I can't take stuff that makes me sleepy, because I'm one of those people that if I know that this thing is making me sleepy, I freak out. Like I and my kids are this exact same way. Like my youngest, you can hear her down the hall if when she gets surgery, like when they give her meds to knock her out, she starts screaming. I feel so bad. Like our whole family is like, my kids and me are like that,
right? And
so I just don't like. I like to be in control. I don't even really, I don't even really drink except for with Kyle playing video games.
Yeah, it's pretty much right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you guys ready though? New episode. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back after 2 weeks off. I hope you're well rested, because we got quite a few episodes between now and Christmas break. So
yeah, it's been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can all of us not get COVID at least for the next 90 days. Let's get through the holidays. Yeah, no kidding. We're at the point now where we've got the whole collection going on, the plate set, and they're going to start sending us some commemorative stuff, because we keep getting them.
I was going to say, is this plate set like the Hercules plates from McDonald's back in the day?
Oh God, I'm going farther. It's like the old president plates at this point.
Oh yeah, you are.
So
Reaganomics.
Yeah, you know what's something weird? Here's something weird. So I'm in Hobby Lobby, and I'll explain why I was in Hobby Lobby a little bit later. But I'm in Hobby Lobby, and Tara points out something to me. They have all these plates and bowls and cups and stuff, and apparently now they will say suitable to eat off of, or suitable to use for food, because apparently there is particular plates, bowls, and stuff that aren't. I'm not kidding. They aren't. There was a dog that they showed a video that ate something off of one of the plates. Something on it, some of the paint or something like that, basically put the dog into almost killed it.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, then why make them plates and bowls and stuff? That's like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. Hey,
don't eat this freaking pizza. I put freaking cyanide all over it. I mean, it's just, I'm gonna just set it right here. It's a good pizza, but don't eat it. Just look at it. Let's go into the nerd.
Talk nerdy to me.
Yeah, we've.
Please don't tell me that's a new segment title.
That's not. That's
Into
not.
the nerd.
Into the nerd.
Into the nerd. Yeah, let's. Well, I wanted to move away from
It is now.
from the topic, but
Right.
we're going to talk about a lot of really nerdy, geeky stuff. So if you've never listened to the show, welcome. I'm really excited to have you here. And if you've been here a while, thank you for listening still. Because, you know, we're very grateful, and it's pretty damn awesome that we've been recording and doing this as long as we have. Some of us longer than others. This is like 12 years, something like that,
Something
that
like
I'm
that.
hitting.
Hell yeah.
And 12 years, and I've been a Fathergamer 25, so
I've been waiting for 84 years.
84 years. So what we're going to do this week, we're going to talk about She-Hulk, the awesome, at least in my eye, I thought it was pretty awesome, but we'll hear about you guys. Werewolf by Night. Also talk about its roots a little bit. We're going to talk about Andor a little bit. Beavis and Butthead, the new Beavis and Butthead. By the way, if you're not watching it, I will get into that. And we're going to talk about some gaming and some comics. And we have a WTTF, what the fuck, Florida segment at the very end. And we're going to talk about some feces. So, I mean, come on, this is a well-rounded, well-balanced diet. So stick around and let's talk. Let's get into this. So let's start off with She-Hulk. So, what do you guys think so far?
I enjoyed
Go ahead,
it.
Mike. Yeah, I'll let you have the floor
Yeah,
first.
I'll do that. I'm so used to just pointing. What do you think? So what do you think, Mike?
I enjoyed every single episode. I don't care what people think, as far as people that are like nitty gritty BS.
Well, here's the thing, okay? And we've talked about this on the show quite a bit. Not everything is for everyone.
Exactly.
I've stumbled over several things recently that I realized, okay, this isn't for me. Like, even in fandom type of stuff, there's a few things that I've stumbled over, and still, I'm still not a huge fan
Mario
of the first
Brothers.
Avatar movie, huh?
Like Mario Brothers, the original live action film.
Yeah, well, oh my god! But at least
You were like the
Segue
one,
back
literally
into that.
the like one person.
Yeah, well, you know what? For one of our Patreon things, we are going to watch Mario Brothers and talk about it.
So much liquor.
Yeah. Maybe when we watch it, but no, you got to be stone cold sober to talk about it.
Oh, I'll be sober to talk about it. I at least remember that movie, but I'm gonna be fucking gone.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm okay. I want to hear Kyle, and then I'll go into my thing on the show.
So for me, I have like some like I'm not gonna nitpick on the fact that like some people with She-Hulk being, you know, the main protagonist, all that stuff, that doesn't bother me. The manly man like thing is like it's 2022. Get past the shit. Women can be just as important as men. No, the things that I can see in terms of that is some of the episodes are oddly paced. It'll like start something crazy and then slow down, start something. But it's also to me seeming like, and this is my thought process to it, is if you're going to have a Hulk show, at least a Hulk lineage. Now, I'm not saying she is the Incredible Hulk, but she is a part of the Hulk family, and I'm sure that's what they're working towards, obviously, because they've wink, wink, nudge, nudge a couple different things for sure.
Quite literally, we're breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, and I'm gonna get in that to a second too. It doesn't feel like a Hulk because there's not really what you consider the Hulk to be of just fucking mayhem galore. Again, totally different person.
Yeah, she's way more different.
She's way more intelligent versus, you know, the Incredible Hulk, just because that's just pure rage.
If I've read the character off and on in comics since the 80s, and I've read back stuff even farther, but I'm going to mention him a couple times, but Dan Slott's run on She-Hulk is quite frankly one of my favorite, and pretty much is the blueprint that they're using for this show. Like, it's absolutely just like it. All it's missing is some crazy like interdimensional stuff that they end up doing in the comic.
Yeah.
And
now,
it would be pretty close. It's a procedural comedy. It's like people are using Ally McBeal with the Hulk is pretty much what the character is.
Right.
And
yes. See, and that's where you were mentioning the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fourth wall in this one is cheesy. Definitely.
It is, but I mean, it is. That's
it's
the thing.
Supposed to be.
It is cheesy,
here's the thing, though, and
Mm-hmm.
I can see where people's discussion is. It's going against Deadpool's fourth wall at this point, because what else big like fourth wall break do you have?
Right.
And that's what everyone is going to be like. If you're going to break the fourth wall, and she's not Deadpool by any means, but that's what they have to be like. That's what you're going against, and using that kind of play.
And they've watching the show too. They've kind of pulled away from doing as much fourth. Well, I mean, I guess the last episode they
the
did
last
quite a
one
bit.
they had.
They did it a lot on the last episode.
It's kind of a weird thing. One, who the hell is she talking to? Like
exactly.
Like Deadpool, he's insane. Like he's
talking
crazy
to himself, but you're himself. Like it's that whole. It's
the meta
shtick.
thing.
It's the shtick for Deadpool.
But who is she talking to? But other than that, I just look at it just like, well, one part of me too is it's in the comic, so my brain is just like it's in the comic. So and I know that is something that not everybody has. Not everybody has read the comics. Not everybody understands. Okay, this is exactly like the comic. The character is exactly like the comic. Like everything is dead on. And as a fan of the comic, I'm like just beside myself that it's so close to the comic.
I would speculate to say that most people have not read the comics.
Oh, I know they haven't, because
and that's one of the reasons why they're having problems for sure.
Well, and then
like
here's the thing, though. Whose problem is that? It's not the people that haven't read the comics. It's not the
showrunners. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not the showrunners. It's not the people that watch it. It's just life. It's just some people like are weird like me, and pretty much will pick up anything and look and read it for at least once.
Mm-hmm.
And which has gotten me in a lot of trouble a few times. But it's
looking but not touching.
Just reading and needing to like get a little info before I start really reading it. The things that I do like about it are, one, she's a great actress. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen her in what was the one she was
Black,
in?
Or Black
no,
Mirror.
not Black. No, she was in the one where she had all the clones of herself.
That's what I thought that was. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
Black Mirror is a different show. It's an anthology show. But she's fine. She's really not a bad actress. The problem too is I feel like they didn't really understand their footing until the last like couple episodes. Like, I think they have done fine, but the last two episodes, if I were to point and go, this is what the show is. This is, especially the last episode. This is what the show is.
That's where I was saying the pacing.
Yeah.
It's literally a roller coaster until the last two have made it together. Like, it's the most whole portion of the show.
That's been one of the biggest problems with a lot of the Disney shows, Disney Plus shows in general, and it's not just Marvel. It's the fact that some of these could have done everything in a 2-hour movie, or maybe even an hour. Like, like the Werewolf by Night, like we're talking about in a minute. And then some things could probably stand to use a good 13 episodes. And so I think them figuring out a better, and it looks like they might, especially since we're not getting every season of all these shows are going to be 6 to 8 episodes. Now it's like Andor is 12, 13 episodes, I think, and 2 seasons ordered. And She-Hulk is, this amount. And I mean, they're starting to change. And so hopefully that means that they're going to start understanding and getting the pacing down a little bit better. I do agree with you. And also when you only have like 8 episodes, there shouldn't be any filler whatsoever in any of these shows. Just shouldn't be. But overall, what do you think of the how does she look, like her as She-Hulk? Like it's still a little weird, but they definitely looked a lot better than that initial reaction, that initial teaser trailer that we got.
I don't have any problems with the work in terms of look.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't.
I know you just want the Hulk smash, and that's just...
It's not all about the Hulk smash. It's the fact that...
I mean, there was a bit of Hulk smash.
she's definitely done some smashing, 100%, figuratively and physically. But...
Yeah.
But...
I found the show, Orphan Black.
Orphan Black, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just like what everyone... going against some specific things for Hulk. And it's the fact of where they're going, and it's like, gosh damn it, we're taking forever to get what we want out of it.
Are you talking about Hulk?
Yeah, I mean,
what you want? Yeah, I see. I'm enjoying it because I love the comics, and I know what's coming. I know what's coming with Bruce, and the problem is too, Hulk is one of the last characters that Disney can't make a solo Hulk anything. Like, right. It's still a copyright issue. I think Paramount, or I forgot who. And so it's so weird. Like, they could make a movie just about like Mew Mew and just the Hammer and call it Mew Mew the movie, and it have Hulk in it,
right? And
it could be all about Hulk. You just can't call it,
Thor or Hulk,
the Incredible Hulk,
or
anything like that. Like, they can't. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing, and so
I was gonna say, for me, in terms of this show, I feel like Disney needs to give a show, or at least, like a mini series for the fucking Retreat group, because those dudes made me laugh my ass off.
Yeah, they do. They need one. That's great.
Yeah, the guys,
the Bull and the Matador.
Yeah, no, that's freaking hilarious. The guy with the one that attacked her, the entire gang is a group of characters that all have like magical stuff, and they're real characters. I mean, of course, see, that's such a weird thing to say now, because I can go, oh yeah, they're real characters in the comics, but that we can say that every episode, and it's so weird that we have, like, even was it Leapfrog or whatever his name is, like the fact that we have him in a comic, I mean, in a show or a movie or anything, like, I would have never in my wildest dreams thought we would have had that character in the show. And it's so weird, especially as someone who, like I said, has read all these comics, and I'm just sitting here going, this is to me, it's a magical time. Like, I'm just happy to be along for the ride. And so I have a little bit different view than I know a lot of people have with these shows and stuff, because I remember as a kid just watching anything, my friggin' superhero TV shows for the Incredible Hulk, which wasn't a terrible series, but then later on you had like that god awful one, like the movies, like the TV movies, where it was the Incredible Hulk on trial, and it had it had Daredevil, and it had a horrible Thor. Oh my god, they were so horrible. And just go back and look at them. Go on YouTube and find them. It's just absolutely terrible. So like, it's hard for me to sit here and go, oh, this is bad, because even the bad stuff is better than the stuff I grew up with.
Yeah.
But this isn't bad. This isn't bad. It's just different. And that's the one thing I'm very happy with any of these things. And we're going to move on from She-Hulk, unless you guys have something you really want to say.
You were asking about that, and Kyle said his piece. The main thing...
No, I don't care about you, Mike. But
the main thing that I didn't necessarily not like, but it was odd, was the CG around her mouth. The mouth movements did not quite sync up all the time.
And you specifically are going to notice that, I think, more than some people.
I was okay with the show. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but I just every once in a while I would see it and I'd be like, oh, that looks a little weird.
Know, and I know you have a real hard time with little details, but there are. I can tell you this, buddy. That Uncanny Valley is also at play. That's there. Exactly. There is a problem with that, and I don't know when we're going to cross that threshold completely. Yeah. And we're close. It's going to be really weird at some point when we just go, "Oh yeah, there isn't a person with 6 eyes and frickin' horns coming out of their nostrils." Like
even Ruffalo's character as the Hulk had this weird mouth issue. Also, sometimes it would be like super flat. And then other times it would be thicker.
You got to remember too, buddy, that like this is, yes, it is a Disney production, but it's still a Disney TV production. Oh, yeah. And
I'm not complaining. I just noticed.
Yeah. But overall, like, oh my god, compared to some of that stuff we got in the initial trailers, it's just But I can't say one thing, guys. I'm so damn happy. Freaking Daredevil's back. So this is going to be a minor spoiler. No, it's going to be little spoilery for the next 2 minutes, but it's all over the internet pretty much. But it's going to be a little spoilery for 2 minutes. We're going to talk about Mr. Mustard and Ketchup for just a second. So skip ahead for about 2 minutes, and I'll take a look at my
that
watch.
2 minutes last time ended up being like 15 minutes. So
it's 2 minutes. So okay. We're going to talk about it. So, this episode, definitely the best episode so far for this series.
Agreed.
For all of the Disney shows, it honestly was one of my favorite things, period, just because I was grinning from ear to ear the entire episode because it felt the most comic book. Like, it just felt like it was a comic book, and I love that. I love the feeling of, seeing Charlie Cox. Is his name, right? I'm right.
That sounds correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Seeing him again as Daredevil, like, I think we can all say, like, he was great in the Netflix show. Like, absolutely great. I can't see anyone else as Daredevil, so it's fantastic to see him again, and it's kind of nice to see him happy. Like, it was just nice to see him kind of different, and I know that show, and that's the thing that they said with this show is you could take a character, like you could literally take Thanos, and if you put him on this show, and it's like a comic book, you move characters around, they're going to be closer to whatever kind of comic that they're on or whatever show. So they could make the character kind of jovial or happy or whatever, and then literally his next episode, when his series starts, the Daredevil series, which is getting like 18 episodes or something. Like it's an ungodly long season. They they'll probably make it go right back to being dark again. So but it is kind of nice to have him on that. I'm also curious if now that he's part of the bigger MCU, and they have said this is not Matt Murdock from the Netflix show.
Right.
This is... Did you hear about that, Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin Feige and everybody in the showrunners came out and said, okay, I think Charlie Cox even came out and said, this is not the Daredevil from the Netflix. This is, I guess, Netflix is its own reality. When Doctor Strange and American Chavez were like going through dimensions, that was probably one. You hear that dun as they pass through the level. That would be great. But just go through the underwater area and then and go through. But I am curious to see. I don't think we'll get the mustard and ketchup color suit. I think that was a one-off. And in the original comics, he barely ever wore that costume. Like that was a once in a blue moon type of thing, and not my favorite costume. And I still really hope that we get just a few adjustments to the Daredevil costume, just to be like it's close to me. It still has that athleisure wear, like he's about to go do some kind of play rugby or something kind of look about it that I don't know. I can't quite place it, but I just want something just slightly different. And this is the last thing, so we can move on. That hallway scene, I do like the fact that we didn't get. If he's going to do another badass hallway scene, he can do it on his show.
Yeah,
like that's coming next year. You can watch it then. But the whole okay, I'm about to take out. He did knocked out that one guy at the end, and he was about to take on the next group, and all of a sudden, Hulk smash! There's your Hulk smash, Kyle.
Yep.
That I thought that was great. I thought that was pretty funny. But anyway, we'll move on. I like it. I think Kyle likes it not quite as much as I do, but and Mike, we don't really care. Okay.
I'm going to mute myself
Werewolf
for
by
the rest of the
Night.
episode.
This is Werewolf by Night. This is the one that I was really curious to see what you guys thought, because it's completely into my wheelhouse, and I'm really, really fascinated to see what you guys think.
I'm on par with you. I loved the movie, or the one-off episode.
Kyle?
I hella enjoyed it until they played the Over the Rainbow song that I have hated since a childhood. And then I was like, just fucking shoot me now.
Why do you hate Over the Rainbow again?
Oh gosh, it's the fact that Brooke used to watch so many things on repeat growing up.
Yeah, I know.
Annie is one of those. Too. She'll say she didn't, but
Little Orphan Annie?
Yes.
Okay.
Really? It's a hard knocks life for us.
And look, I will go over your house, and I will. Mike, next time I see you, I will freaking just drop kick your face.
But okay, I'm gonna go first on this one because the director, he originally he did the scores for tons of the Marvel and other movies and TV shows. But he was originally the guy that did the music for some of the biggest MCU productions. So I think it's really cool that they went ahead and gave him an opportunity like this, which I'm pretty sure he's going to end up directing something, one of the bigger movies or something at this point, because he's definitely proven. And the thing is, people that are gifted musically like him generally end up being pretty decent directors. I mean, he already is a director anyway. He's got 2 create and direct the music as it were already.
Right.
So he was already kind of there in any way. And this score, oh my God, let me tell you, the soundtrack to this thing, starting with the MCU fanfare at the beginning with the as I would say every 10 seconds in between you would hear like this screams and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, we're in for something different. And the fact that they were like, you want to film it in black and white? Sure, go ahead, do it. And I have to admit, I was a little worried when they released the initial teaser trailer and the trailer, and it had that weird black and white that doesn't have any grain, and I was like, oh God, it's going to be one of those black and whites. Like, it looks like it was made on someone's phone. If you know what I'm talking about, it's too clean,
no filter on it, just black and white only.
Right, and this is the kind of movie that you can't do that. This is the kind of project where it's got to look like a grindhouse sort of kind of thing. Like, I was describing it to people, if you're a fan of the classic Hammer horror movies or the Universal monster movies back in the day, the Wolfman and Dracula and all that.
Yeah,
it's like a good combination of the two brands mixed together, and I loved that. What were you saying, Kyle?
I was like the Dooku.
But I love the fact that we got the first, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but he's in the damn trailer, so I'm not feeling like I'm spoiling too much. We got our first bit of Man-Thing. And
I noticed that, yeah. I was like, that has to be Man-Thing.
Yeah, that's Man-Thing. I'm so happy that we got Man-Thing. Like, later on, if they will 100% use that character in the rest of the MCU, I
forget who they called him.
Ted.
Was it Ted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was something silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he likes to be called Ted.
And I love he's just like I loved how they made him. They did a great job. The like I said originally, the music right off the bat, I was like, okay, this is fantastic. This is perfect. And I'm such a music guy, such a soundtrack person that like that's got to get me, and it did. And you could tell this was his baby. And the fact that we got the Bloodstone and the Imad Bloodstone in it as well, let's just say I'm one of the people that really love the darker side of the Marvel universe. I really like those kind of characters, and same thing with DC. I am such a like Swamp Thing or Constantine or anything like that. Like I love all that kind of stuff, and we're starting to get it in the MCU, and I'm totally down for that. I still really hope that we get a live action Marvel Zombie something, but we'll see. We kind of did with Doctor Strange. We came pretty close. Like, that was still pretty badass. That whole cloak thing in Doctor Strange, too. But it. So what did you guys totally think about this bit of awesomeness? I don't care. Anyway, no. So what did you guys think?
Go ahead, Mike.
I liked it. I was thinking you already asked us, but maybe not.
I kind of did, but
I enjoyed it. I haven't really seen the classic films, but I know of the classic films. I know what they look like. You know, grainy, lines going down it, spots spots every once in a while.
It's not just how it looks that makes those old movies.
It's the style of audio and everything else too.
The acting, the lighting, like you have to light things completely different from like you have to do the makeup completely different, and on top of it, you're putting in at least one rather large CGI character, and so you have to think about that, because that's a, because you can't just take that character and make him make a colorized version of him and then make him black and white.
To black and white,
you've got to think about where the shadows are going to fall different in the black and white movie. So that's pretty technical on that level. That's pretty amazing,
and that's how they colorize older movies, because they know what colors were used for the films originally, and
but what I'm saying is like when they made Ted, they have to think, okay, we have what he looks like. We know what he looks like now,
right?
In vivid color. But when he is first seen, you see him in black and white.
Exactly.
And when you make the character that's a CG character, you have to think in a different way, making him black and white. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to turn him black and white now. Right. Like, you have to think about it. To me, I was just kind of freaking out because of kind of understanding that on a technical level, just like, oh dear Lord, that there was probably an entire discussion about just that alone. And I don't know. I'm really curious to hear more from Kyle. Kyle, have you seen any of the classic, like, Universal
You're
movies?
Talking about, the Dooku movies? Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. From The Wolfman, The Mummy, Frankenstein, Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Dracula. Yep, seen them.
Yeah,
Living Dead and all those.
And I love Hammer Horror. I don't know if you've. I'm gonna go on a limb here. I'm pretty sure. I know Mike hasn't. I've
seen a little bit with you.
Wait, didn't you watch Captain Kronos with me?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. We'll talk more about Captain Kronos in the sometime this month, but that is one of my favorite Hammer movies. Like, I am kind of obsessed with Captain Kronos. Like, if somebody gave me money and said, okay, go direct a horror movie, I would, and I would pretty much make a sequel. Yeah, Lost Pastor too. I would probably make a sequel to Captain Kronos. Would be on my top list of stuff I would love to do. So I even though, and the character is entirely way too sexist for this time period, so there'd be a few changes, but it is definitely a great movie. But what else did you what did you think about it?
So I personally, I really did like this. Just in case, like, we were talking about, because it was funny. Like, as I was, saying all these movies, I was even going to bust out the old school Abbott and Costello movies that had the cameos. Of
the Wolfman, Wolfman and Abbott and Costello.
The Mummy. Yep. They had those cameo movies from those back in the day. So with Wolf by Night, I was like, okay, so this is a pretty awesome concept of course, because it's like, all right, so we got that old school style shot, black and white, and I was like, okay, I feel for this, just because, like, hey, especially by the time that when Wolfman, or the werewolf, essentially pops out, I was like, oh man, that is a nod to the Wolfman 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 100. Well, I mean, he
human face
like,
on the wolf.
It's funny. Tara was like, wow, that's kind of and I was like, no, it looks just like the comic. Because I've read the comics, and I'm just like, she's like, okay, that's fine. But she was waiting for, like, the American Werewolf in Paris.
I was about to say, it's either that or the Underworld.
Yeah.
The Lycans.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said Paris. I'm so sorry. That movie is I'm American Werewolf in London. London. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Hey, Eric, London's calling.
Huh?
So, I said, hey, Eric, London is calling.
Yes, it is.
So, I personally really liked it. I liked the concept of, like, hey, I thought it was funny because, honestly, the way that this movie started, and they opened the coffin, and of course, Bloodstone himself was there.
Yeah.
I was honestly, no joke, I got Tales of the Crypt vibe from it.
Oh yeah, boils and ghouls type of
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah,
I know it's legit.
He was Frankensteined up because he was like piecemealed back together again.
Well, I love the fact that he was basically like a Disney animatronic. That was my favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tara and I kind of laughed a little bit too with it reminded me of back in the day, the Chuck E. Cheese type of like Happy Birthday Boy or Girl kind of thing, like how he just kind of did that and that herky jerky kind of movements. It was God, I would love to see him at a Chuck E. Cheese, but Bloodstone Pizza.
Make it happen, people.
Make it happen. One of the cool things, speaking of Disney, is the night that it aired over at Disneyland. They had at Avenger Campus, the Werewolf came out.
Nice.
Did he? I honestly, I would have thought it'd been so cool if they lined it up with the full moon night.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
too.
That would have been cool. I've also heard that Elsa Bloodstone was walking around, but she probably would have looked like just somebody walking around.
Yeah, I was about to say her jacket, like she was pretty much nonchalant. I was like, okay.
She just looked like she shopped at like American Outfitter or something.
I mean, she was a badass character. Clearly,
she's
like
a great character in the comics, so it's kind of cool.
Didn't her like mother even like scold her for her clothing?
That was the stepmother.
The stepmother. Yeah, her mother. There's a whole thing about that, but that they didn't talk about. Yeah. But her stepmother was. Ooh, she.
What a lovely lady.
Right? Yeah, I really was hoping she would have had her arm ripped off.
She was, man, they Velociraptor Jurassic Park
pretty
hard. Like, I was like, oh,
let's go.
I was about to say, man, if that doesn't freaking Jurassic Park 2.0, I don't know what else is here.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love when they're tasing him. They tased him so much that it made smoke. Like, there was your excuse for smoke in this shot, was the fact that you tasered him so much.
Pretty much.
And it's funny, though, like, it was an hour long, and I swear I feel like I watched a 2-hour movie, but in the good way. Like, not in a bad way. I feel like I watched something substantial.
Right.
My only little plot to end this, which is kind of funny. Now, I know they were trying to hunt this dude after they found out what he was, but I was like, man, for some hunters here and he's out, you would think like somebody
would
have
picked
some
up
fucking silver,
right,
and not fucking tasers.
well, I do.
They didn't want to kill him, though. I mean, first.
I do love the fact, though, that they give a good clue at the very beginning of the episode or show that there's something more to him, because he says about the Scottish guy that you can practically smell the blood on you,
right?
And I was just like, oh, that's too funny. Like, I already knowing he was the werewolf, that was already,
like you said, there was that. I also couple things noticed too, when of course Scottish dude was like, which one of these is your handiwork? And he's like, oh, none of these. But I had fucked that Nosferatu there a couple times.
Yeah. I'm also really curious if we're gonna have him bump into Blade, or like I want to see.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
that part of the MCU so bad, all kind of like intermingled together. Like, I want to see Blade and freaking Ghost Rider and multiple versions of Ghost Rider. No, we're not gonna get. Even though we could technically get the god awful. But you know what's funny though?
Nick Cage
as that character, that version of the human form. I can't. It's not Blaze. Is that Johnny Blaze? I can't remember.
Blaze, yeah.
I would be fine if Disney could come to him and say, "Hey, look, we're going to bring you in, and we're going to make you Ghost Rider and Nick Cage." I would have a lot more faith than the garbage that we got, especially him pissing out fire in the last one. Like, Dear Lord,
The
that movie
second one was atrocious.
that second one, it don't even it didn't even make sense. It was
wait. There was a second
together
one.
Yeah, that's where he.
No,
pisses.
Mike, there was not a second one.
It was barely a movie.
No,
but
Eric, there was no second movie.
There was no second movie. But yeah, and I've heard, I can't remember what actor it is. Somebody big has mentioned recently that they wanted to be Ghost Rider, even though I would have really liked to see more of the guy who played the one that drives the car.
Shield. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see more of his, but we'll see.
I liked him.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and finish. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know, but I was about to say, but then they technically already did do something, I guess, going back into She-Hulk, because they used the magician's name is Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, I love that. I love that whole self-referential, but that was a joke. It wasn't actually Johnny Blaze. It was spelt and said slightly different. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was definitely making you think Johnny Blaze. So
they've got ties with the name within it. So
I know Ghost Rider's coming. I know for a fact that they've said he's coming. And of course, we didn't have this on the list, but we need to mention it. Wolverine is coming to the MCU. Speaking of Daredevil, not Daredevil, but Deadpool as well. The trailer for Deadpool 3. Not trailer, but the announcement. Only Ryan Reynolds.
Teaser, essentially.
Not even a teaser. Not even a teaser trailer. Just hey, guess what? We're gonna make a movie. I can't. I think it's Phase 6, so it's quite a while away. It's the very beginning though, because we're ending 4. 4 ends with Black Panther. Which, by the way, just had a new trailer as well, too, Black Panther 2. And I kind of wish they had saved... I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer.
Are you talking about Ironheart?
Well, yeah, Ironheart, by the way, looks like it was... It looks like 2 different Pokemon mated together. It is the weirdest... I don't think I've
seen that one yet.
Yeah, there's a new trailer out now has...
You see brief... I could only remember, I think it's 2 or 3 shots of Ironheart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's a
hella
toy.
Fast.
There's a toy picture.
Yeah,
there's a toy out already. The toys are already out at Target.
Mm-hmm.
And it does show Namor flying with his little feet.
Yeah.
Wings, which
wings.
The question is answered that they did put the feet wings on the toy. That, whew,
I mean, you see him in the commercial too. So
yeah, that's the one we're talking about. And they showed, but I was kind of surprised that they showed. Okay, well, there is a Black Panther, and it's a woman, so there is a toss up. There's 2 or 3 women in there in that group that they've been showing it. I'm not going to say who I think it is, but I don't think it's exactly who people think it is. That's all I'm going to say.
So you're not going to say who it is in the comic?
Who's in the comic?
The Black Panther.
Yes. We know it's the Black Panther, Mike. But
no.
Who's... Yeah.
In the comic, don't they mention who this is?
Well... It depends on if they're going to follow the comic.
So who's in the comic?
So here's the thing, though, Mike. The thing is,
trying to get out of you.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, he's not saying. Typically, they could go the same route. There's multiple
multiple
Panthers,
universes.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's Black Panther is a guardian, so it's passed down. See, it's the fact that we lost, unfortunately, the actor so soon, so they had to scrap around the fact and build together within the comic line of when
but in the comics
he does.
Yeah,
I do know this, but it's so much shit happens in between that.
Yeah, right. So it is kind of, well, I mean, heck, they're even changing Namor, but which, by the way, I'm totally cool with, especially since Namor is one of those characters that, and I do not know which came first, but there were so many comic book people that would swap between working at DC and Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Aquaman came first before Namor.
I was pretty sure, but I'm
That
not
sounds correct,
entirely
yeah.
sure.
No, Aquaman definitely came first.
Did he? Okay. So, but I mean, it is one of those things where, like, I've been writing a comic book about a man from Atlantis for the last, like, 10 years, and now I'm working over at Marvel. Well, I'm gonna make another man from Atlantis. And so I do like the fact that they were like, okay, we can't exactly make him from Atlantis, and instead they went with more of like the Aztec, Mayan, Incan sort of vibe. I do really dig it. Like, I'm curious to see. Yeah.
Excuse me, I was wrong. Namor came first by 2 years.
See, that's what I was kind of thinking. Like, it felt like because 60. What is it? 62?
Yeah, I was just looking at it, but Namor was not the fact of popularity versus Aquaman.
What year was it? Did it say?
So he was created by Paul Norris and Mort Weisinger. He was first seen in More Fun Comics number 72 in 1941.
Oh dear Lord! I didn't realize it was that long ago. Good Lord! I mean,
I think it was an appearance, though. I don't think it was the full blown.
Well, I think he was a bad guy at first, or like had.
Yeah, like, so he is portrayed more as a villain, but I also think he's kind of at this point like an anti-hero.
Well, in the comics, he's definitely he looks out for Atlantis, and they're like, I will 100% admit, like, Namor is definitely one of those characters that I've skimmed around. Like, I know a lot about a ton of other characters in the Marvel Universe. And I will admit, Marvel Comics compared to DC growing up, I was more of a DC person. So there is some blind spots, and Namor is definitely one of them. But I am pretty, like, it is pretty awesome that if they're going to change him, they changed him to the degree they did to me. But I could see where people, like, if they had changed She-Hulk quite, like, from the comics, I probably would have been pissed. So I can see where people out there are probably like, why do they not make him like he is in the comic? And I have a feeling he'll be pretty much like, his character will be pretty close to whatever he is in the comics. It's just,
I see Namor is legit, no lie. Like, okay, so I like how they did Namor for the film. I like the whole Aztec vibe, all that jazz. I think it's pretty freaking cool in terms of Atlantis and stuff. I'm like, all right, that's pretty darn nifty. That's, not the typical, like we're saying, Aquaman, just in terms of popularity and all that jazz.
Well, it's not even called Atlantis in this movie. They call it something else, which I still have a feeling they're going to go. Some people called it Atlantis or something like that.
Yeah. Which is why I'm like looking at the character, and to be fair, I don't know Namor all that, so that's why I was like so hell bent on saying Aquaman came first. I know Aquaman was old, but appearances, I guess, yeah. But anyway, like I sit and look at him. To me, it's like DC's Black Adam in a way, of being villainesque. But also as like to your people, or say it's you don't fuck with him, he doesn't fuck with you, yada yada yada. So I mean, speaking of,
it's the vibe
that we got that coming up too.
It's the vibe that DC really wish they could have had for Aquaman for the longest. They even went so far in the 90s that they cut off his hand and made him grow a beard. And
that's the Aquaman that started turning Aquaman around and getting people to start pay attention to Aquaman.
Oh, the new 52 Aquaman, which they used a lot of that, the Jeff Johns Aquaman run of the comics. They used a lot of that for the current Aquaman movie, the first one, and in the character in general. Like, I know a ton about DC, so we can talk DC all day. But I'm trying desperately to fill in the gaps in my nerd wisdom. Reading a lot of comics lately. So anyway, Werewolf by Night. Really enjoyed it. We need to move on.
Absolutely.
We're rambling a little bit.
A little bit.
I really, 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 really enjoy the new Beavis and Butthead. I know we've talked about it at least once. Here in the States, they have it on Paramount Plus. I highly suggest to check it out. But this last week's episode, the reason I'm pointing it out, and we're going to move past it pretty quick, is without a doubt one of the funniest things I have ever freaking seen in my entire life. It's one of my favorite episodes of Beavis and Butthead, but it's honestly one of my I haven't laughed so damn hard in anything in so long. Beavis and Butthead go to the mall, and Beavis decides he's gonna put on some athleisure wear, like tights, and they basically go into Lululemon, and he goes to put them on, and it is, dear Lord, that scene. Like, I'll send it to you guys if you don't have Paramount.
The heck is a Lululemon?
It's an athletic store.
Okay.
It's a clothing store.
I just like how he said it.
You said it that
what
way.
The heck is a Lululemon?
That's exactly what you said it was.
Yeah, it's an athleisure wear, which is a term that I just want to shoot and like throw people off a balcony when they say it. It's basically what people wear all around here all the time. It's the like tights and stuff like that. Kind of look
like wrestling tights.
Yes, just like wrestling tights, Mike. But it's that show is it's so awesome to see Beavis and Butthead, that not only has he found that groove again, to see the characters still funny this far along. And I mean, what were we talking, like 30 something years now? They've been around.
While, yeah.
So really, really enjoyed it. So check it out. Trying to remember what was it? Andor. Have you guys been checking out Andor?
Yes.
That I've only gone up to the second episode. I've had so many shows.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I've been trying to
fail, Kyle.
Like I will completely admit, I have not watched. I stopped watching, not because I didn't like it, but I didn't watch The Hobbit, not The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Tolkien. Tolkien. I haven't watched it since about episode 2, and I haven't watched the Game of Thrones one since episode 3, I think.
I'm a little
not
better
because
off
I
than
didn't
you, but
enjoy it.
much.
Not because I didn't enjoy them, but because I know they're both got a second season coming, and I'm not worried about not watching it and it getting canceled, because if I don't watch it, things are going to get canceled. Just
looking at you, Fox.
Like I was just like, I kind of want to watch it all in one go.
That's kind of how I am.
Yeah, those are bingeable shows. Those are those shows
They
that I do.
are.
Yeah, just like, can you just put them on Netflix type of shows? Like, that's how those feel. And so,
without commercials,
especially since that one ties into, if arguably probably one of the best new generation, if not the best new generation Star Wars movie out so far.
you're talking about Andor?
Yeah. Andor going into Rogue One.
Andor, I am watching. Like, it is.
See, I didn't hear that.
It is, and I have seen. Sorry, I was talking about.
I know you were talking about the Rings of Power.
The Rings of Power, and
which is a good show. Well, I've only seen 2 episodes. Game of Thrones, I have 2 episodes I need to watch. I'm doing back to back. Otherwise, I'm going to hate myself per week.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for Game of Thrones until the season's over with and watch it all, because I've watched 2 episodes, 2-3 episodes.
It's pretty freaking great.
I bet I have to binge it. Like, it is a binging shit. Like, like, that's what I was saying. Sorry if that didn't come across. Yeah, no, Andor is one of those things. Like, I know I'm not gonna get spoiled. Like, I know what happens to the character. Like I know where it ends. So it's not like it's gonna be that big of a spoil. But it's so well crafted that I just want to give it that support. Like, I want to give those kind of shows that extra support to make Disney understand, like, this is what I want. Like, please give me more of this. This is definitely, this is an important show within the thing. I can see where some people are, oh, this doesn't feel like this doesn't feel like a typical Star Wars this or that. And they're right. It feels like something a little bit different. And that's fine though. Like, we can, just like Marvel, we can have different ways to tell a Star Wars story. And this is without a doubt probably one of the most adult Star Wars stories that we've ever had. And that's not a bad thing.
I don't know.
I feel like, and I hate to say it, it does feel like it's almost more adult to me, though. It does. It feels just.
I mean, I don't know.
That's the wrong word. It just feels.
I don't know if you've watched the Star Wars porn. I don't think you go any more adult.
No. That's a different kind of adult. Well,
I'm just saying.
You're saying it's more akin to the original movies.
It does, but it doesn't. It doesn't have one. It doesn't have Jedi, so that automatically makes
there's more stress to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's entirely like just this gut wrenching like tension that's just building and building. It's so well acted too. Like, it's a different acting style than most other Star Wars movies. Like, people are, and I can see where it kind of feels more like it fits with Blade Runner and Dune than it does a typical Star Wars movie or show. And that's fine. And like I said, I think Star Wars has the ability, especially if Disney is going to continue with Star Wars has the ability to tell stories differently. I think you can tell a good Star Wars story different than it's been told before. I think you could, like they did the
like Rebels.
They did those books years ago that were zombie horror Star Wars stories. And like, you don't have to stick, like, I'm not going to say, okay, I want to see a Star Wars TV show like She-Hulk where it's well, now that I say this, I kind of do want to see it. That is like some kind of lawyer in the Empire that's now I want to see this show.
Jedi
like,
Smash.
Jedi Smash. Like, now I kind of do want to see this show.
You're just continuing the pornography names.
Mm-hmm. But overall, like, I feel like it's a different level. It's a different way that this show is just made and presented. I mean, the fact that and I forgot the name of the device that they use, but they have the giant screen. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. Disney's been using it since The Mandalorian. It's basically this giant screen that they project images on, and that saves a shit ton of money for when they're on location, and I just did quotation marks. Instead of doing green screen, the actors can look around and it looks like they're in a hangar bay or they're by the ocean or whatnot, because they're surrounded by these images and it looks like they're there, which is really kind of cool. That, like, the actors don't have to go, okay, well, that tennis ball over there, that's the dragon, and you see that little piece of tape, that's the sunset. You're gonna imagine that the dragon is like, you know, they don't have to do that. It's literally there, and that's such a cool thing that they have that ability. But they didn't even really use. I mean, I know they used it some, but they barely used it for this show, for Andor, and most of its location and sets, and it just looks that way.
It was called The Volume.
Yeah. Huh?
The Volume.
What about it?
That's what it's called. The Volume.
Oh, yeah, Volume. Sorry. But the fact that, like...
I'm just kidding.
And Andor, in the last episodes that I watched, is in a big mountain range that's sort of like looks like the highlands of some area, and it looks just phenomenal, and it has this wet sort of just lived it. Yeah, wow. But it just have this like this damp sort of look to it that you can't capture on a green screen or even with that other thing or whatever. Like it just has to be there. The actors have to be there. Yeah, and I'm loving that. And like I said, the acting is probably some of the best that has ever been in any Star Wars thing. It's just phenomenal. I mean, down to his like adoptive mother, some of the her interactions. They show in the trailer where she tears up and everything is great. I would love to dissect this show a little bit, but I know not everybody's watched it. But I kind of wish this was one of those shows though that wasn't weekly. It's just I want to, and I forgot to watch it for like 2 weeks, and so it was nice having 2 episodes. And then I think the premiere we had 3. So
right.
So now I'm like, next week I get to watch 1 episode, and I'm just going to be like, God dang it, I have to wait another week. It's going to be pretty miserable. But what do you guys think? That's
I like the show.
I'm actually really curious.
It's very good. I'm still so beyond early in it. But yeah, no, pretty much from what I've watched, is him like trying to be on the run and all this is like pretty great. And of course, I know this is supposed to set up into Rogue One. So, yeah. I mean, like you said, I know the end results. Everyone has a sweet dance party on a...
Yeah, it's the...
old time.
It's just like the Lego Star Wars celebration thing. I really... This is going to be one of those things. I know they don't like to put the things that have come on Disney Plus. They don't like to put them on physical media right now or anytime soon because it's like. But I really kind of want them. Like I want a sweet package of all 24 episodes when they're out, because that's how many episodes are going to be, and technically the 25th episode will be Rogue One. And so I just kind of want that all in one thing, and it just I mean I'm really, really hoping though that they after this they still give them the keys to something with Star Wars and let them run with it again, or something like in the High Republic or in something
the Old Republic.
The High Republic is the new stuff that's out. I'm
sure for sure they'll do the High Republic, since that's what they're doing.
Well, there is a High Republic movie or show or something coming in. I know there's an animated one coming, but I heard something about a High Republic.
But I mean, the Old Republic would be amazing. If you could get it to where it's before the Rule of Two and all that stuff, and you really work the Sith. Oh yeah, there's a bunch.
Oh yeah, work that Sith. You know, they I just recently listened to re-listened to, because I used to listen to it all the time, but the Dark Horse Comics Jedi, like the Old Republic
the audio dramas.
Those are the comics were amazing. Like the comics are still. It's so sad that they're like not canon, but I mean, who gives a crap? It's still a good story. The comics were amazing back in the day. I still have all of mine. I'm so happy that I do, because I looked online. They're really expensive.
Shoot, at this point, I'd even take a live action show for Cal Kestis.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like legit. I'm like, man, you could do so much extra than just Jedi Fallen Order. Oh gosh, there's gonna be so much
coming. There. He's coming, dude. Like he is absolutely coming to a show. Like he's gonna
Cal
either
Kestis
be in Mando.
Is a fantastic character. character.
He's either going to be in Mando or something. Like they've got to say, okay, he's dead, like he died like sometime after the games, or he somehow survived and popped back up after everything.
He is dealing, like, I mean, the Andor time period, that's all when this is going on, like all that jazz. So Cal Kestis is around while Andor is going on.
Yeah.
And because oh gosh, I forget.
Saul Guerrero.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Saul Guerrero, because he assists him on
one of the game, the first game.
So I mean, like, he's around. So,
and listeners, Cal Kestis is the main character in Star Wars
All in Order.
All in Order, and I can't remember the name of the new game that's gonna.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah.
Who cares? It's not going to come out for probably 2 years at this point. But it's still the sequel to the to that one. But he's such a great character. I'm still, by the way, still have my my figure that you awesome group of people got me for my birthday. I still have it in the box. I don't keep many of my figures in a box, but I still have that one because it means so much to me. But loved Andor, so we need to move on. We're gonna move out of shows and want to talk about a couple of the just geeky, nerdy things that we've been doing. I personally have been reading a shit ton of comics. Like anytime I turn around, Mike was very nice and donated me a tablet, and I'm incredibly thankful because I've been reading comics since this town, for whatever reason that we live in, has no comic book shop anymore. Like, how did that happen? I don't know. And to be honest, this town never really was a heavy, other than in the 90s. Like it's nerd and geek and fandom stuff leans more towards card games and board games and that kind of thing. I've never understood why comics just
didn't come out. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they had it, but like I literally remember in the 90s, like everybody read comics in the 90s. Yeah. Like the 90s were like the last bastion of like amazing for the comics scene. Definitely. And you know, we're coming up on the anniversary of Batman getting his back broken and Superman dying and all that.
Darkness.
Yeah, back in that day. But
that was being Bane. Sorry.
I know. I was trying to skip past it. But anyway, I've been reading a lot of comics, like a shit ton. I had read a little bit, but I ended up being able to go back and reread and then catch up on the last Ronin comic for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I don't remember if we talked about it on the last episode or not, but it is TMNT's like Dark Knight Returns. Like, it is on that level. It's absolutely one of the best comics that we've had come out in the last at least decade. Like, it is just phenomenally great. And if you have a chance, you really should pick it up. And if you're all a fan of TMNT, definitely should read the comics. Like, I've read quite a bit of them, of this current run that I think we're hitting about year 10. I'm not kidding. I think it's been around about a decade of this run, and it's so good. Like, it is just so good. But they just started a new storyline called the Armageddon game, and I'm really actually excited. Like, I'm bugging the people over at IDW on social media. Like, I'm just absolutely driving them nuts. Probably like, oh my God, I love this. Oh, this is awesome. Like, I can't help it. It's just so damn good. And then also I mentioned Dan Slott for She-Hulk. He has a new start to Spider-Man. It just started. Spider-Man #1 just came out. Dan did it again. It's really good. Very, very, very much a good Spider-Man story, and ties in with a lot of the Spider-Verse. And since we're about to get the next movie, which God, I can't believe it's coming so fast. The Spider-Verse movie. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. You guys been doing anything in fandom, like nerdiness, fun stuff?
Go ahead, Mike. I'll let you go. I'll let you start off again.
I don't.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on this, guys.
I don't know.
I mean, I do. I've just
been watching the shows.
Okay, what have you been doing, Kyle?
So, yes, okay, so it's a two-parter here. So this is kind of going into the what's in your system, but also by the play of the fandoms and all that jazz. So good old Netflix, you know, they like to come out with their TV shows every once in a while that is very good and a resurgent of things. I got full-blown addicted to the Cyberpunk show.
Oh, yes.
How is that?
It's
so
good.
fucking good.
Oh,
so good.
So good.
So much that I been hella playing Cyberpunk.
Nice.
That's awesome, because something
I need to
needs
get back
to.
into it.
Yeah,
okay. So let me kind of explain how this played out. So I had owned Cyberpunk beforehand, and as I was doing it, of course, this is when all the jazz was going down between, you know, just issues here and there. Very large game comes with very large problems.
Oh,
anyway,
dude, we weren't on the air during this, so they released the game too early.
They got death threaded to release it early.
They still released it too early.
They still released it too early, but I would rather release a game early and fix it than have their whole studio blown up to oblivion. By any means. Because there's some. Did you say Okay, fair enough. Eric,
I mean, they weren't physically blown up, but otherwise they
mentally
they were.
They've lost a lot of good like faith. Like
he was saying there was death threats.
I am not gonna buy one of their games day one. I say that, but another Witcher game comes out.
So here's the thing, though. So you say that now, and everyone has said that. So because of this show. They had a player base in one count of 500,000 people. It went over to 1.5 within a weekend because of the show.
Well, and I know they released over on the game. They released a patch and free DLC
with the show-based stuff in it. So
nice.
Yep. So you can now do the specifics builds of that within the game and whatnot. The game itself, when it was out, and I can never not credit CD Projekt Red in terms of this, the game was good. The story was good. Like, it was all there.
The story was good. The gameplay was shite, but at the time,
for older generations. But I mean,
no, I had issues on my PS5.
I mean, I had problems too, not to the older generation base, 100%.
Oh no,
my personal preference, to be fair,
like 60 hours deleted. So
is if you went in their gameplay dev, like when they showed off the game, not thinking that there wasn't going to be any massive kind of issues, then I'm sorry, I don't know what you're thinking. Because the way that the world was built and what they were showing, they were going to have problems.
I know, and I've followed gaming for decades now, but it's still, the problem was that it was just not a finished game. Like that is a problem, though, and I'm not talking about just studios that get threatened to be blown up. It is becoming an issue.
I think it is literally, in my opinion, it goes back and forth. I think it goes between the devs, and I do think it's the consumer. The consumer is awful when it comes to that, because they push the tandem, and where these parent companies. Prime example, EA is phenomenal about this because Mass Effect Andromeda was a prime example. You want to know why? Because their budget. They didn't want to push a budget past because they weren't going to make as much money as they thought they would in that time. And they knew it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready.
As somebody who's luckily, I've been so lucky to be able to hang out with various studios and befriend tons. Like, we've interviewed or been to E3 or whatever. Like, we know a lot of people in the industry, and there is a lot of systemic issues. Sorry, that just, unfortunately, we're not going to change right now. But at the end of the day, if you keep releasing products that aren't finished, that need more than like 2 or 3 patches just to be really playable, like, if you keep doing that nears it to a point to where, and I'm not talking at just like CD Projekt Red or Bethesda. Bethesda's notorious for having serious
EA's been pretty games. I mean, Battlefield 20. Oh
yeah, don't even get me started on that. Like, that was probably one of my biggest disappointments last year. It's going to make people, especially if you're wanting people now to pay upwards of $70 for the release of a game. Agreed. It's going to make the consumer just go, look, I'm just going to buy used, or I'm going to and that's going to just fuck up the receipts at the end and make it to where people get less and less budget. I mean, it's just such a snake eating itself. That's why the triple I is probably the game development is probably the way most development is going to go.
Well, that's why I said what I said. Like, specifically, I think it literally is a two-front battle of, not only is it the company's fault, I do think some lies on the consumer. As we've come to know, I just
can't for a game not being released. That's you have to go, look, I'm sorry that it's just not ready. I'm sorry, and if you're angry, I'm sorry, but look, if it's not ready, it's not ready. And trust me, I've been pissed off. I've been pissed off several times, but you need to look at your company as just like you look at your character in a game. You only have so many hit points, and after a while, once that hit points get down to 0, you're dead. And most developers aren't lucky like CD Projekt Red. They don't have the money to fix what they did. Like, CD Projekt Red had the money to throw at it and fix it. But if it was one of those EA companies, like, look what they did with, like you said, with Mass Effect, they pretty much just dissipated that group. They just
they do.
Yeah, they just said, okay, well, we don't have that team anymore. Like, that's the kind of thing that happens.
BioWare, and that's where I believe specific companies that can garner that, like, yes, you need to stand up to the consumer base and tell, look, you just have to. But us as consumers,
or don't show a damn game until it's ready.
I mean, that's true, but death threats are never the answer for that. Ever.
No, never. But especially, don't show a game unless it's ready. That's the thing. I don't understand that. I've never understood that marketing design is like, we have to show a game.
It's
now.
The money ploy. They want. I mean, it's literally the money.
They
ploy.
want the pre-orders. They want the pre-orders. But they also are looking at stuff like GameStop and whatnot for
absolutely.
Them to buy copies.
It's the money. It's also it literally throws into their stock too. Like, that is a big again. It's literally the money. It's the big thing.
It's all about the money. I mean, you know what? And I'm not a silly idiot. I'm not looking at things going, okay, it's not a company. Like, these are companies that make money, and I realize that. But I just get so angry when we also forget that they're creative companies, and if they keep fucking up, then they lose their turn at the bat, and somebody else will come up and take it. Sorry, that game is not the entire reason I'm angry about that kind of stuff. It's several games that have made it to the point. I would rather play Fortnite or Knockout City or something sometimes.
It's definitely getting worse for sure. This one, though, by far is, like you said, with Bethesda, is a huge, like, when you have something so large. I mean, to be fair, it all started with No Man's Sky. Really took it off.
No Man's Sky was like the
busted.
It was the head of the pimple. Like that was
it was that essential, like, it made people start to think this wasn't done or they needed more. Like, this was just nothing.
And No Man's Sky was lucky enough that they had money and they
fixed it.
Now it works
and they fixed it.
Is now a super fun game.
But it's still bad for the consumer, and that's what makes me angry. It's bad for the consumer to do that. It's also pisses me off because it makes it to where I'm probably going to, if I really want to get in on the good game now, I have to go in and buy something again because I got rid of it because it was bad. And that's just, I don't know how to fix that particular issue, but it still infuriates me. No Man's Sky, another game, it infuriated me. So I don't know.
But now to finish this up, because of Cyberpunk Afterlife, I think that's the name of the show, right? Yeah. The game is actually much better in a much more functional state to where I am full blown addicted to it right now.
It's something I really want to play, and we'll go into what's in your system in just a second. One of the games that I did want to mention that hopefully we will be playing in the next couple episodes we'll talk about is the new Ghostbuster game, Spirits Unleashed. I'm really kind of excited for it. I'm a Ghostbuster fan, and so much so I'm building a pack right now, and it's so dorky, and I'm so happy. Like I have pretty much 90% of what I need to finish it now, and I talked to a group on TikTok that is going to send me some of the 3D printed stuff to turn my pack, which I got a Spirit. It's a company here in the States. I got a Spirit pack.
Spirit Halloween
proton pack that is apparently it's at 70 scale, whatever that breaks down to. So it's 70% the size of what the ones are in the movie, and with all the 3D printed upgrades and getting a few extra things, it'll make it pretty much as close to screen accurate as I can get. And then, but anyway, yeah, I'm really, really excited about that. Just wanted to mention about that game. We're going to be playing a lot of games about Halloween that are Halloween related, and over the next month, and we're going to talk, like, this is our last episode before we get all Halloween up for the remaining episodes of the month. And so just let everyone know that we're going to be talking about some Halloween stuff for the next few months. I mean, few weeks. Oh, a few months. Who cares? We'll just straight into Christmas.
It's always spook season.
Yeah. So we'll talk about. So anyway, let's go into what's in your system.
What's in your system?
So I wanted to start off. Me and Mike. Unfortunately, Mike and I haven't been playing together much. I know that Kyle, did I see you and Mike playing Fortnite together?
Mm-hmm. We played some. I bought the season pass for this year.
Wow! So you got
to play it.
You got to play it now. You got to play it to get Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen, yeah.
So yeah, this season, I think pushed myself too much for the last couple seasons. I think I hit that thing, and I'm gonna get Spider-Gwen. Like I'm doing pretty good. I've been doing the weeklies, and they've been giving some points are pretty easy to get this
Super
season.
Easy
like
to get, yeah.
Like I'm 2 or 3 of the pages away from getting Spider-Gwen already, and I've barely played. So kind of curious. Like, and then the Halloween stuff is coming, and that's something we're going to be definitely doing. Is I would really love to do with you guys is go through it. I mean, I'll even re-download Apex, go through and do all the Halloween events through all the various games, and either stream them or post them to YouTube or socials or whatever, and then we can talk about them on the show and kind of rate everybody's Halloween season stuff.
We also need to go back into Destiny, because you have not seen the Fortnite bus yet.
There's a Fortnite bus in Destiny?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Oh, no. I've seen the picture. It's crashed. Yeah, I do need to go in there with you, though, and actually see it.
That way you see it like up close and personal. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So I don't remember. I think we took a break talking about Fortnite because we were talking about it every week.
Have we actually?
We playing. No,
I'm talking about the audio for the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we've talked about it much in the last couple weeks.
About it pretty much every episode.
I don't have it edited. Listeners, I normally, for 80 something episodes of this particular version of Fathergamer Podcast, I edited every episode pretty much, and so I'm used to listening to the episodes over and over and over and over again. And now I'm just like, oh yeah. Like, you'll say, okay, there's an episode posted. I'm like, oh yeah, we recorded one. I forgot we recorded one. That's cool.
That's because I've been editing now.
Yeah, and it's going back to me editing some more again. So, yep. But the cool thing is we're going to be doing Patreon stuff, so there'll be plenty of editing for everybody.
Yep.
So, but anyway, the Fortnite this season, they added Spider-Gwen, which is kind of funny because they have the Marvel comic that's running in tandem, which we've talked about on the show with this season, which barely has any effect on the game itself, which still is really weird. And I know you've talked to me about it, Mike, but it's still weird that why do it if it's not really going to have much effect on the actual game? But it's still a cool comic. Like, I'm enjoying the comic. I'm enjoying like the season, but just like, why not? And you even made the final character that you get in the main tree of stuff for this season. You make it a Marvel character. Why not? Like, it's just a weird thing. It's almost like they were gonna make it tie in, and in the last minute didn't or something. I don't know. It's really weird. But
and we can definitely talk about that on another episode as far as the comic.
Yeah, I would love to break that down.
I do as well. We'll
do that next because there's a 5 issue.
It's 5 issues.
Comic. Yeah. So the last issue came out. We got it this week. So
right now.
We'll read it right now. We're gonna read it right now, and then we'll don't. No, next episode we'll probably bring it up and kind of talk about the comic and its effects, and also kind of break down the perks for getting the comic were always some kind of skin or character or whatnot. And I will say it was a little weaker this go around. Yeah, I was kind of a little disappointed. I mean, loving the comic, but I was like, But we did get, so far this season, Marvel-wise, we got the Fortnite version of the Hulkbuster suit, kind of, in a weird way. And it was, story-wise, I believe the suit's made by the scientist.
Made by the scientist, yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically for being able to withstand things that were happening in the world, in the Fortnite world.
So it's it's kind of cool. It's like an Iron Man Hulkbuster suit, but it's got like the face is
the LED face that moves.
The LED face is kind of great.
Yeah.
And then they had X-23 is the new character that you can get, which thanks, Mike.
At this point, I'm not sure if she's still there or not, but she dropped yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool. It's the newest version of her with a little bit of Fortnite twist, and I think other than the Logan with the eye patch,
give me matey.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Which they do mention in the comic, by the way. So when you read it, you'll get a kick out of that.
I'm excited to see. But overall, I think the biggest thing for this season that is the biggest change, other than the typical map aesthetics and that kind of thing, is the silver, which they added this basically like silver goop type of stuff that you throw it down and whatever's around you gets coated in this silver stuff, and you can turn into a pile of basically the T-1000 is what you can become, and then you can walk through walls that have been silverized, and which is a really cool effect. Yeah. Have you done that, Kyle, yet?
Absolutely.
It's
pretty nifty.
It's a pretty nifty effect. I had a guy though that was kept throwing down kept building fences and to try to get away from me, and I threw down the silver stuff and just went through it. Like it's so great, and
because you can hold 8 canisters at a time, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and they last a long time.
I'll go and grab at least two squares worth of canisters.
That's funny.
And just go to town on it. And you can coat the vehicle, you can coat the animals. So if you want to jump on a wolf, you can jump on a wolf and then throw the silver down, and by the way, it is on some of the characters, it's so cool. In some characters, it is just the weirdest looking thing. Like you don't realize almost the camel toe effect it can happen on on certain characters. It's just disturbing. But I'm kind of curious, Kyle, as somebody who doesn't play it very often, but you played it enough to know there's a difference. What do you think about it?
I mean, I have started to have a better experience, and it's probably absolutely because I've been nothing but ass in building. So the fact that they have a no build mode now, I'm like, oh, I can stand somewhat of a chance and have more of a fun time. And I am predominantly like an Apex player. I'm actually pretty darn decent. I'm not going to say I'm like greatness or anything personified, but like I can make some plays here and there when I'm on my A game and I have a monster in my system. But the Kyle life. So going into Fortnite, I'm not gonna lie, there are some times where I just get like massive amount of kills, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like fucking transitioning so well.
Yeah, it's
and then
weird.
there's games where I just get like grittied on. But I mean, like,
it's
going back and forth.
Fortnite is one of those, especially if you're playing other games. Fortnite is one of those games where, just when you think you're like badass,
it screws you up.
Yeah, or you realize, because they change weapons out, they change things out so much that, which is great. Like, I like that's one of the things I love about it, is just when you feel like you're like the best, and you figured out how to use certain weapons or certain things to your advantage. That advantage goes away.
Yeah. So they vault it and then bring something else out. Yeah.
Right. So you always have to kind of keep on your toes.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just something I really enjoyed it, and I'm really happy for you, Kyle, and for apparently a shit ton of other players that they have the no build version to
makes it not as. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand people with building can take like a certain skill for sure.
Really,
it does.
Well, okay, so there's the difference. There is to a degree, Mike, just for the fact that if this is,
you have to be quick on your toes. Yeah, I mean,
it's a cross-play game, right? I think it's a cross-play game.
It is.
PC has a huge advantage in terms of the fast building speed. So, there's a huge skill gap in terms of at least the build based off of PC to console. Even though console, depending on how your button layout is, if you've got specific controller sets and things like that, you can flick them too.
Yeah,
I have it set pretty. I can build pretty fast on the controller, but I know PC. I mean, you can do button mapping. You can do all it just kind of depends on the thing. But I can tell you who does win: the Switch person.
Funny enough, I found a setting within Fortnite that actually you can lower the hold time for the building mode. Mm-hmm. Which makes it speed up. So you could outbuild somebody just by tweaking that setting, which is legitimately in the game as an option.
Well, they also have
which is kind of
sound
weird.
They also have that sound thing that for people for the hearing impaired, so you can literally see where people are coming from on the screen, and is one of the easiest ways to cheat if you're playing like the actual 1 versus 100 or something like that. I've turned it off because it really annoys me more than anything.
Yeah, I can't use it. I just use my spatial audio from my headset.
As somebody who already sees sound, it's just not something that I want to deal with on a daily basis. But anyway, Fortnite, really great, really enjoying it. I really need to start streaming it because I play so damn much of it, and it's actually one of the games, competitive games. Well, it's one of the competitive games that I don't feel like a complete noob. I actually feel like I'm pretty decent.
And
I mean, if I sit and actually really play, I'll get 2 or 3 wins every night, if not more. And I remember when I first started, and I had to drag anybody else to play with me. I remember going, well, it's been a week and I got 1 win, and every night I get 2 or 3 pretty easy. So I like
damn close to it.
Yeah. And then, if I'm not in the top 10 every match, I'm really shocked.
I was going to say, I'm constantly in top 10.
Typically. Yeah, I don't really ever not finish in the top 10. But the worst is being 2, though. Oh, God, there's nothing worse than being especially when you look over and they have a sliver of health left. That's just... what else you been playing, Kyle?
Well, outside of Cyberpunk... the next big game that I have dabbled in is the big game of the month until the end of the month, which is Overwatch 2, since that legit just launched.
Oh, yeah. Well, have fun. I literally...
It's free to play.
They fixed it, Eric.
No. Did they fix it?
They fixed it.
Okay. 2 things happened.
It took them a week and a half, but they got it.
One, I was stuck in the queue from hell.
Oh yeah, I was too. The
DDoS was doing that
stuff was awful.
I played a shit ton of reading comics on my tablet. That was pretty much what I did while waiting. And then I finally get through, and there was apparently some of us had this issue. It played the intro to
the original game.
The first game.
Yeah.
The original game.
Oh, so
I was like, wait a minute. The whole Winston thing. And I was like, wait a minute. Why are they using the same? And then it was literally all the characters were locked and all this. It was what the frick is going on? So I was just you know what? Until I have other games I want to play, and I deleted it. And I'll go back at some point and play it soon. But I'm just like, I know they're gonna have a Halloween event, so I'll have to download it at least to play that to rate it. But
there is a PS4 and a PS5 version now, so you
can
download either one.
Yeah. I play on PC now, but it's a cross-play game. Yeah. So,
didn't you get a PS5?
Yeah.
You still have it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just playing it on PC because I'm trying to get better with some first-person shooters on PC. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just trying to get used to that style of play.
The mouse.
You're just
keyboard?
an elitist person.
Mouse
that's
and
all.
keyboard.
Yeah. Oh no! I can't do
Not
that.
really. Like, I'm still ass at it. 100% still ass at it.
The other game that I've been playing the fuck out of, and I've tried. Like I think I got Mike to play a little bit. I don't know if you've played on your own much. Knockout City. Mm-hmm.
Fun.
I really enjoy the fact that it feels sort of like, and we mentioned it, I think, in the last episode. The reason I'm mentioning it more again on this episode is that there was an event, but I feel like it really is kind of like a palate cleanser for me. And also I'm pretty damn good at it. I felt like I found out like I'm actually pretty okay at it. And it is one of those games though, where I'm like, I'm really good at this. And then next thing I know, I really suck at it.
Mm-hmm. I totally get the palate cleansers now, like especially with battle royales. Oh yeah, you need a palate cleanser.
And it still is kind of a battle royale, but it's a sports game. It really is, but it's dodgeball.
Well, no, for sure. I'm just saying in general, like Battle Royale is taken over a lot because free to play. It's just one of the most easy accessible and just super popular base game mode now. So, like you said, a palate cleansing base game is definitely very necessary.
And being that I just so happen to be rereading a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, I was stoked, even though I'm thoroughly pissed that it wasn't Fortnite that got him. I was stoked that this game got the Turtles, and they had in the event they had where you could get the turtle van, because basically in the game have it really wants you to do to form a group with your friends. Like it pushes you, unlike a lot of games like this, it really pushes you to make a squad and name it, and really like make it grow. And so one of the things they do though is if you're the leader, you can choose a car or vehicle to be the group car. And they had a floating turtle van that was a good combination of the classic show with like other versions of it, and got it pretty stoked. Like it was like, I was like, okay, done, got it. And then next thing I know, I'm still playing. Like I have all the turtles. I have Shredder's helmet. I made him look like he's a Las Vegas lounge singer. It's really, really fun. Like I think I said on Twitter, I came for the turtles and stayed for the fun, and or I could dodge a wrench, but I couldn't dodge the awesomeness of this game or some.
I remember that one, yeah,
hokey thing like that. But it is a game that I will probably be playing for quite a while. I can't imagine, especially now, and I'm kind of discovered a pretty loyal group of players within the like a little community, and so I think it's a game I'll play for quite a while. I'm pretty excited to see what other little like events they have.
I need to play it more myself.
But they did move its servers over to Epic's servers, because it was over at EA's. And so I'm a little like, yeah. So does that mean that Ninja Turtles are still on the board? Because they were, is it Smite? I think
Smite had him, yeah.
Yeah, so it could still happen.
I mean, Paramount owns Turtles, and Paramount
made a
has a deal with Fortnite, so they can easily come back. For the first time.
Than having Star Trek characters run around with guns. It would be weird to see Ninja Turtles running around with guns, but if they had like the Ronin,
right? It wouldn't matter.
I'd be cool with that. Like, God, I'm excited for it. There's a figure that's coming. It looks so cool, and they just announced. Mike, they announced the other Turtles, which I can't say who they are because it'll tell you, because that's the deal with the last Ronin comic it's one last turtle.
Yeah,
the other turtles are gone, and there's only one last turtle, and so
I saw the NECA, the video that you sent me had like the different characters.
The other turtle, like the futuristic, so they're no longer teenage turtles, but I was just like, oh god, those look great. Like I kind of want those whenever they come out. So it's really cool though that we do live in a time where we have all of our nerd stuff represented, and if it's not a video game, it's a movie or a TV show, or the fact that we have a Mario movie finally coming, or 2 decent Sonic movies have come out. Like, how did that happen? How did they make 1 decent Sonic movie, much less 2? I mean, we'll be honest, Jim Carrey saved both of them, but still, like, how it's just kind of cool that we live in this time. Before I wrap up the show, I guess just a second. Do you guys have any other games you've been playing or anything like that?
Nothing really. I'm just waiting for Gotham Knights, and I'm hoping that's good. Like, it looks cool. I'm hoping it's good.
The 2 games I'm excited for this month are Gotham Knights and Ghostbusters. That's the 2 games that I'm just like that, and whenever my version of the Shredder's Revenge comes in from Limited Run, like I want to play the game so damn bad, but it's
right.
We'll see. But anyway, I have one last thing before we finish the episode. We have a custom with our show to have WTFs, or the what the fuck.
WTF.
My wife suggested WTFF, what the fuck, Florida.
Classic Florida.
Yes, the you enter in your birth date, and then you enter in a Florida man, and you let the hijinks just roll out, because there's always something terrible. A Florida man always does something terrible on every day of the week. Like, it's just how it is. But anyway, this week's WTFF is about a man named Kevin Smiley. Which is a perfect name. Like, if he's not a serial killer or some kind of pedophile, like, he better be some actually really upstanding civilian. And guess what?
Right.
He's not. Kevin Smiley owns the owner of a sewage company. Like they come out and they do they'll
drain the stuff, yeah,
the tanks and all that kind of stuff. Apparently he got really angry, like, at a local area that he was living near, and decided to cover the entire only road in and out with 70 gallons. 70 gallons. Now, I want you to just stop. If you're driving, pull over for just a second. I want you to use your inner mind and imagine this. 70 gallons of anything. That's a lot. but this is 70 gallons of feces and fecal matter. He sprayed it all over the only entrance in and out of this area, which I'm almost willing to bet you there's no way it's not. It's probably a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's Florida. I mean, it has to be.
Right.
But he unleashed 70 gallons of feces on the road, and apparently his neighbors turned him in, and he got angry and decided to do this. And so how he was caught was one of the people that was having to go down the road that lived there in the subdivision noticed that one of her feminine napkins was among the collection of feces all over the road. So I have a lot of questions about this.
Napkin.
So one, the article actually said feminine napkin, so just pad, tampon, something like what are we, 1970?
Yeah.
Two, okay, I wipe my butt at least once a day. I couldn't tell you what my toilet paper looked like. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't say, guess what? That was my toilet paper.
That's my exact one.
How the hell did she? But anyway, that's how they figured out it was him. He was by the pad, because she knew, oh yeah, I get my septic tank dumped by this guy. Mm-hmm. That is the worst or best episode of CSI ever. Like, I can't even imagine exactly how this went. I mean,
I have this diamond-plated pad that only I can get.
I really hope to God they did a dig line, for this. Like, I would like to see that white hair guy. I can't think of his name. He's amazing. The guy that does Dateline episodes and this Florida woman found out there was more to life. That he just has these weird things. He'll just start talking. Almost does the Madden thing. It would have been a good play if he'd caught the ball, kind of thing. And you're just like, yeah, okay, that's cool. But it's so disgusting and so bizarre, and that is our WTFF for the week. So, hey, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to us ramble and talk about stuff in fandom. We really enjoy it and would really love the follow for me and Mike, because Kyle is just, Kyle. But he does have he does have a Twitch. And what is that under, Kyle?
Waffle Daddy 25, I believe.
Yes.
Waffle Daddy 25. Okay. So while he's confirming that.
No, I can confirm it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
So go ahead and follow him on that. You can follow me at Fathergamer on Twitch. You can also follow me at Real Eric Gibbs on Twitter, and at Fathergamer on everything else, TikTok and Instagram. You can follow Mike at Silverhawks, no vowels. So he took all the vowels out. He was like, you know what? I'm too good for vowels.
Yeah, bitch.
I wanted to be unique.
So you can find him on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and all those good things. And we would love an interaction. We found out somehow, through some weird way, we're in the top 100 video game podcasts for video game and leisure in North America. So
nice.
Thank you very much out there for all of the fine people that apparently didn't leave during our 2-year hiatus. That's really amazing. I'm very, very, very thankful. And there's one last thing that I would really love for anyone listening to do, if you're still around. Go online, and wherever you're listening to this, go and give us a rating, preferably a good one, and give us a review, even if it's a few words like that Eric is a sexy beast. Mike, he's okay. And Kyle, I mean, we would know if he did more social.
I mean, that's true.
If you would go on and give us a review, that gets us on the recommend page, and we would really like to get in that top, like, I don't know, top 50 next. That would be really, really badass. And eventually number 1, obviously, but that beggars can't be choosers. So, but thank you very much for listening. And we're very thankful. So thank you for listening. Go out there and make a difference. And as always, achieve greatness.